Today on Internet Drama, I'm going to be talking about IDUBBBZ, or in this case, ILs, because he just took a massive loss amongst many of them. Terrible jokes aside, this case is pretty serious. If you haven't heard, IDUBBBZ hosts a pretty big event known as Creator Clash. The first one in the potentially dead series of events having been hosted last year, and being pretty successful. And this year, IDUBBBZ hosted another Creator Clash. This one did not go as smoothly as his last one, however. Halfway through the months leading into Creator Clash 2, IDUBBBZ made some questionable decisions in which he terminated one of his fighters, Froggy Fresh, for making a joke about his wife and having connections to IDUBBBZ's long-term enemy, Sam Hyde. This led to a lot of backlash from the YouTube community, most of his fans old and new calling him out for making possibly one of the worst mistakes in the history of his YouTube career. And oh boy, they were not wrong. And it was all for pride and ego, the ultimate bringers of downfalls.
You could have shut your mouth, cooked, and made as much money as you ever needed. It was perfect. But no, you just had to blow it up. You and your pride and your ego. You just had to be the man.
The backlash was definitely the breaking point for the success of Creator Clash 2, because recently, IDUBBBZ came out and admitted that he was $250,000 in the red after Creator Clash 2. So let's take a look at it.
I think it's best to be transparent. For Creator Clash 2, despite it being a fun event and despite good fights and a lot of creators sacrificing a lot of time, money, and energy, we lost $250,000 on the event.
Right off the bat, he admits his massive loss, but let's keep watching and see how he tries to explain this.
Amongst the 800 pirated streaming sites, there were between 1.3 and 3 million viewers. So even though there were around 50,000 pay-per-view buys, there were around 1.3 to 3 million viewers, people who actually watched the full broadcast. And that's a little bit reassuring. It makes me feel like, okay, people maybe do want to watch this. They just didn't, they just either couldn't afford it or just didn't want to support what I had going on.
We see IDUBBBZ talks about pirating and how people wanted to watch the event, but perhaps couldn't afford it. But this is simply IDUBBBZ deflecting the massive reality at hand. IDUBBBZ racked up a lot of negative reactions because of his pride and ego, which directly grew the amount of people that didn't want to see him succeed after the Froggy Fresh situation. Of course, there would be a lot more people that wouldn't want to support your event financially. After all, you kicked someone off your event for entirely personal reasons. That did not fly well with the audience.
We also had to pay for more fighters this year. The first year it was 18, this year it was 24. I thought bringing in more fighters would just lead to more pay-per-view buys, but I think it just ended up costing us more, because each fighter gets a $20,000 stipend, and for anyone confused about this or thought everyone was fighting for free, they pretty much are fighting for free. I think any of the fighters can attest to the fact that fighting in Creator Clash is not a financial boon in any way.
He says he spent more on fighters this time around, which definitely hurt his pockets. 24, with $20K for each fighter just for them to participate and represent, is a lot of money. But once again, he's deflecting and failing to mention a large portion of money he lost out on Froggy Fresh.
That $20,000 is eaten up in those 9 months that you're training. I would say that $20,000 is on the low end of what it should cost you to train in those 9 months.
I will give IDUBBBZ props though, as he did mention the harsh reality of being a fighter in this event.
So I don't want anyone to think just because these fighters are getting $20,000 to basically just be a little bit less in pain after going through all this torment and trauma. I don't want anyone to get shit for that, because that is a minimum of what these fighters should be getting. In my opinion, they should be getting much more, because it is a traumatizing event and it takes a lot of time and dedication. That is a cost of putting on the event, in my opinion.
At least he is being somewhat transparent.
I try not to view any of the pirated live streams as malicious, because I think the majority of people, aren't malicious about it. I think there were 50,000 people out of 1 million plus who just said, Creator Clash live stream, and instantly a bunch of shit popped up.
Once again, we see IDUBBBZ deflecting the situation at hand. He refuses to admit that his own actions are the reason why people had such a negative opinion and didn't want to give money to him. People willingly wished for your downfall.
I want to make it right. I want to make it more right. I'm okay with us fucking up and taking a $250,000 loss. I'm not okay with charities not getting any money.
You shouldn't be okay with this. But of course you are, because for you, your pride is more important than a massive loss, because you'd rather focus on people not talking bad about you and making so many people turn on you, burn $20,000, than letting childish insults and jokes slide.
I'm just disappointed that I let everyone down. You know, I just made some strategically shitty decisions along the way, and all of those decisions, you know, led to where we're at. I think it was dumb of me to say that we weren't going to make the broadcast available for free like we did the previous year. I thought that that would bring in more pay-per-view buys, because people would be like, oh, I'm not going to be able to watch it for free? Well, I'll definitely buy so I can tune in.
Once again, he deflects and says he made some bad strategic decisions. However, like I've been saying, the one biggest mistake that he made was letting his pride and ego get the best of him and banning Froggy Fresh from the event. Many creators spoke out against the decision, and hundreds of thousands of people bore witness to the scandal. Many influencers and fans alike denounced the event itself, and people actively wished or predicted the failure of Creator Clash due to this. It is unlikely that Creator Clash will make a return, and if it does, it will probably be under a different owner.
Additionally, another thing that's, you know, been eating at me is that someone is trying to take over Creator Clash. I know that sounds like I don't know, the plot of a video game or something, but it's real, and it's been taking up a lot of my time. So,
however, if IDUBBBZ does make an effort to continue being the host of Creator Clash, then the only way he will be able to remedy this is putting effort into his public relations and learning how to take criticism and insults in a less sensitive and more constructive way. Had IDUBBBZ rolled with the punches and had some fun with the jokes himself, he wouldn't have faced all this ridicule, and people would have taken the event more seriously.